I just have to think of all I was saying.
Very good. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Brad Weber. I have been on the Rainbow House Board of Directors for approximately 2 years now. Um, I volunteered to be on the domestic homicide response team just because I think it's important that people understand that or what could possibly be happening and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel on this whole thing. When you're first going through it, uh, it is very difficult. Just a little bit of background. My sister was killed by her husband on June 15th, 2007, in her place of employment at a church office. A lot of people keep on asking, well, is there something you could have done differently that day? But thinking back, there wasn't. This whole thing happened or evolved in a matter of minutes. It wasn't something that you could say, okay, we're seeing a problem, let's do an intervention or anything else. From the time my brother-in-law left his house until the time that my sister was dead was probably 5 minutes only. So there wasn't a whole lot of time in there. Uh, it was very difficult at the beginning because of so many different things that were going on. You had to initially think about how do we notify her daughter, which wasn't at home. We couldn't get her by a phone call or anything else, so I had to be the person to go notify uh, my niece that her mother had just been killed and her father had committed or attempted to commit suicide and was in critical condition at a hospital. Very difficult type of thing to do. Uh, and then afterwards, you have the initial court appearances, working with the district attorney to see what type of charges are going to be filed. Then you have to think about the guardianship of in this case here, a minor child. How do you deal with that? Severance of parental rights, and then you get into the whole thing about financial situation and dealing with all of those issues. In my case, me and my wife actually took in uh, what would he be, my cousin?
Niece.
No, my nephew. We took my nephew in to our house for a couple of years, after this happened, and it was pretty rocky. I'll tell you that, right off the bat, it was pretty hard. But like I said, there is a point where you get through all of this. Initially, it is pretty hard uh, because there's just so many things happening and so many things going on, and right after the event happened, you have to try to deal with the media trying to find you from any way they possibly can. Uh, and then the media not always respecting, the privacy that you want to have during this time that was a tremendous loss. Uh, my wife always not jokes realistically, but says it was sort of like a train wreck unfolding right before in your eyes what was going on. We could see that there was problems. We knew that there was issues uh, with my sister. She had recently filed for divorce 2 weeks prior to this happening. Uh, and you could just tell something was going on, but she kept on saying, "Don't worry about me. Tim will never ever hurt me. He's fine. Don't worry about me." Well, obviously, everything wasn't fine in this situation here, and it's basically, I guess I'd just like to tell the story that things do get better, um, and time does heal a lot of wounds, but there's always going to be, I guess, as long as I'm alive, you know, this event in the back of my head in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be, when my niece gets married, she will not have any parents there. What will that be like? And I know she's talked other times that I don't have a mother or a father anymore, even though the father is still alive in prison. Uh, she still looks at it as I don't have any parents, and I guess it might be easier to say they were killed in a car wreck or something else, but in this situation, it is just more difficult because people say, "Well, how's your dad doing?" That maybe don't know the situation or the story, and then she has to tell it and sort of relive the whole thing over again, which, like I said, can be pretty trying. Um, it's something that you know, at the time you're going through it is very difficult because there's just so many things and they happen so quickly. Um, and like I said, there's never a way you're going to be prepared for it. Uh, you know, it's not something that people plan on. It's not something that I would sit here and go, okay, I'm going to plan for this type of situation in my own household, because you really can't do that. Um, but you still have to think, you know, I guess if you need help, to try to get the help that you need, or for your partner that they can get the help that they need, rather than saying it'll be okay, because in a lot of cases it won't be okay. Um, you know, I know in my situation, you know, if maybe my brother-in-law had gone sooner to see a counselor, maybe things would have been a little better. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could have ended up the same way, but there's always that thought in the back of your mind, if things would have changed just a little bit, we wouldn't have had to deal with the situation that we're dealing with right now, which is, like I said, it's been 9 years now almost. It is, like I said, much better, but it's still there. You know, you still see it every once in a while, and that, you know, it makes it hard.